Warning!
The following clip you're about to watch contains language, volume, sweat, and distortion. Not recommended for teenagers under the age of 16. Shredding is strongly advised.
That's some good shit!
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the captain speaking. I would just like to apologize for the length of this video, since it is quite long because it is quite technical. Please bear with me, as I promise that this might be the only long video you will have to endure. The rest should be short. Like, subscribe, and shred that bell icon, button, whatever. Kids, wear your seatbelts. Alright, till next time. Bye.
Hello and welcome to what is to be the first episode of the Great Guitar Build of 2022 Scratch Build. I'm Frans Truter, and this is a little introduction of me and the design that I came up with. So far, the only thing that I've built guitar related is this Fender style Stratocaster that I got from a kit build. Not much went into it, it was just plain and simple, and as you can see, it's a lefty because I'm a lefty. Can I play guitar? No. But can I build one? Yes. So, how did I come to the realization that I actually enjoy making guitars? It's because of that thing over there. I made that and I just got hooked. I'm pretty sure by the end of my life there will be much more guitars hanging on a wall, if my wife permits it. I don't know, we'll have to see. Anyway, designing an original guitar shape is not as easy as it looks. It is quite, you need to think out of the box. You need to get into a realm where you don't have the influences of other guitars and stuff, but it is quite hard. Hence me taking inspiration of two types of guitars, namely the Fender Stratocaster and the Gibson SG. Just trying to design something that is me and what portrays me as me. My shape, my form. And luckily I've got something that helped me a lot, and that is my inspiration station. It's a little board that I put up, just to give me some ideas that I can like gather from and like just consume that information in order to get the input, and then the output would be a guitar shape. but it's not as easy as it thinks. I was pondering, I was sitting there in front of that board for at least 2 hours and just like trying to get my head around a design. And that is when my favorite show started. I put everything on hold.
Like sands through the hourglass, so are the days of our lives.
And that is when I realized I need sand. A shit ton of it. Or at least a little bit from the shit ton of it. Anyway, I decided to go to the beach, get my toes in the sand, wiggle them around for some down to earth, you know, getting grounded, getting into the zone, appreciate nature. As I was like playing around in the sand, trying to get like the inspiration that my inspiration station didn't have at the time. And that is when I met Jesus. Oh wait! Sand is eternal, and sand goes for turn. It runs through your brains, your veins, and it never stop the sustain. It does? Sorry. Who are you? Dude, I'm Jesus. The Chord. The Chord. No one believes in me anymore. Fuck. Anyway, there's some sand. I blessed it with shreds. So, use it in your inlays. I mean, you could have put it a little bit closer. Go forth and spread the shreds. You know I can still see you, right? Oh, come on, man. That was dramatic for the viewers. Sorry. Bye. That's basically a true story. You decide. And that is where I am at the moment. I'm about to show you my design, my philosophy behind the design, and how I would be making it and what timber I would be using for each component, and try my best not to bore you in this first video. And there we go. So,
To the creation station.
hi everyone, and this, ladies and gentlemen, is my latest creation. This is the Dune. And you want to know why I want to call it Dune? It's because of the sexy ass curves that this guitar has. You'll see that this little body over here is a combination between the SG and the Stratocaster. It almost looks like the SG, but it's not. It almost looks like the Stratocaster, but it's not. And it's got a fancy little bridge over there. As you can see that we are going to use a fold over fixed bridge. Capiche? Right, now let's talk about the break angle. This break angle over here is at 3 degrees. By using my phone and putting it on my Washburn guitar, and the level said it was 3 degrees. So I took 3 degrees as an indication that it is 3 degrees. Right, so now that we have the break angle at 3 degrees, we will focus on the cavities over here. It's not really cavities. This is basically going to be mahogany on top, mahogany blended in with the body and the laminated top. But this in overall is the guitar shape, the DUNE. It's got curves, like I mentioned. Let's talk about the neck. The neck will have a double action truss rod in. It will be made out of red oak, which was salvaged from a pallet, international pallet by the way. But so far, what do we have? We have a 635mm scale length and 21 frets. I used a program that I found on the internet that Tim Sway recommended, and I went to that site and I did it, and it was a huge success since I exported it into Adobe Illustrator, and then I made these crisscrosses in, which indicates where the fret dots will be, and the inlay, of course, is dunes, because dune, you know, it's called, the whole guitar is called the DUNE, and it's got the dunes in the 12 fret area over there. I hope this works out. I did a couple of inlays, but it didn't turn out so well. My practice runs were like out of this world, stupidly fucked up. Anyway, the headstock. The headstock is almost based on the Gibson style headstock with a couple of variations. It will be a 3-on-3, and it will have locking tuners, hopefully, if I get it in time. The neck itself, the headstock, will be a scarf joint. Now, scarf joint I have some experience in with, since I played around with a little ukulele neck, and this is a scarf joint. Sorry, Mike. So yeah, and this will be at 17 degrees. Why 17 degrees? Again, based on my Washburn. The angle that my phone told me, it was 17 degrees, so I stuck with 17 degrees. I hope it's enough, or we kinda screwed.
It was at this moment that he knew. He fucked up.
I'm not gonna lie, I made a huge mistake. You see that 17 degrees I was talking about? That was including the 3-degree break angle, which means her actual headstock degree should be between 14 and 13 degrees. So, I guess back to the show.
Get them. Capiche? Okay, great. Move on to the cutting lists that I've provided so neatly and wonderfully. So this shape is mainly going to be, the body is going to be out of spruce. It's a softwood, so it's light. Laminated top will be Neisner blackwood, and then mahogany will be inserted into this block A and block B. Once they are glued together and I start to cut out the main body, the mahogany will then be already seated in where I want it to be for when I put the Neisner laminated top, which will be book matched on top. And then once I file away it at this angle, the mahogany will start to show and give a nice feature to the guitar. After all, this is my first attempt of doing something so ridiculously complicated. So now you'll see that this is how the neck pocket must look like from an angle. Obviously there's the neck pocket over there with a 3-degree beveled in already into the headstock over there. It's going to be a screw-on neck, and hopefully it works out. Let's talk about the neck. As discussed earlier, I will do a scarf joint, and this is basically how my cut list looks for getting that scarf joint. So I will probably need a piece of timber longer than 640 millimeters, so that we can get it out. Obviously that just gives me an indication from where this point over here, I hope I'm not in frame, this point over here is that point over there. So then that needs to be 460 to be quite not accurate, but between 460 and 459. That's the aim of the game. Then also something very important that I need to take in consideration when doing this neck is where it gets seated into the neck pocket. Now, because of this that has a break angle, I believe in order to get that nice snug fit, that end that fits into this over here needs to be also at a slight degree, so that when you join them up there's no gap in between, I would say. This will be red oak as mentioned, and to be cut it I simply drew out how long it should be, and now I'm going to take this off. It's off. Stick it over there. So now you guys can see how the neck joint will be at 17 degrees. So I'll use this as a template to cut this over here. Once everything has been cut to size, and obviously it will either be a C shape or D shape depending on how I feel that day. Okay, so let's talk about what's going on here. The fretboard will be roasted birch. I'm taking a gamble. I'm taking roasted birch as the fretboard material. Then what I want to do is the fretboard binding that you see here around, I probably won't show on camera now, but there is a 2mm binding that's going to go around the fretboard once it's been seated in to hide the ends of the frets, and that will be oak veneer edging. So the headstock design, I will most probably use also a laminated top, but I'm gonna spice it up a little bit. I am going to use key art. Now key art, I'm not pretty sure what the scientific name is, but I'll put it probably up right here. Key art is a very native tree as well, and so is Neisner Blackwood, and yeah, we are trying our best to use sustainable woods here, although I think key art is a little bit on the red list at the moment. I'm not too sure, I must check that fact. But it's literally a small offcut, as you guys would see in the next clip. Alright, so now comes the great reveal of the timber I'm going to use. Well, let's start off with the easy one. Right, the neck. The good old-fashioned neck. So I did some digging and I did find that this is some beautiful heavy red oak that was on a pallet that was reclaimed, and this was the feet, I believe, of the pellet, and it's got some pellet holes in here, but I'm pretty sure we can make work with that, as we only need 640 millimeters, which might just fall in between the two holes here. Anyway, right, red oak neck done. Let's get this bad boy out of the way now. Now onto the body. I've got some two nicely cut spruce that I am eventually going to join together. You might see, yes, it is something to take in consideration that it has cracked. This has been in my, how can I say, possession for the past 5 to 6 years, and I guess traveling around with it and moving around with it kind of took its toll. So there is some defects in here which I'm willing, or perhaps could, once I have joined it out together and it seems to be a problem, I will then be able to fill this in with sand and epoxy, should it be at the bottom of the guitar, to fill that in with the sand, and which I pretty think will have a nice look and feel to it, as it has a very large crack in the middle. But like they always say, it is what it is. So we unfortunately have to make and deal with it. Now comes the fun part. Let's move this out of the way, shall we? Shall we put the neck one in here as well, so that we know what we're working with? Is the fretboard material. Now, this is the roasted birch that I mentioned that I'll be using to do the fretboard with. It is 20 millimeters thick, so I'll be able to also split it in half, get some nice meat on the fretboard to work with the radiusing and also the inlays that I'm planning on doing. Now onto the body laminate, and this, ladies and gentlemen, is the Neisner Blackwood. As you can see, it has a very nice little texture to it. It's got this nice white and then dark that I will probably use to my advantage when I do the book matching. It's got a smaller one here on this side, and it's got a wormhole that I can't see through, but it is there and it is noticeable. But we'll try and see, maybe if I look at the plans correctly, it will fall on where the cutout would be, and we can get rid of that in that manner. I think coming towards the headstock veneer that I spoke of, I got this piece of Kiat. Now, Kiat is a beautiful wood. I love it to pieces. It's light, it's workable, and I can really put this through my bandsaw and then do something about this, because this is actually a very beautiful piece of wood. And yeah, it's also got some white in it, and a little bit darker than the Neisner Blackwood. But in all fairness, if I had more of this, I would have most probably do the body out of it. But yeah, no, the price of Kiat is quite exponentially expensive. Go figure. And that is literally it, ladies and gentlemen. My future shredders. This is the material I'm going to use, and yeah, I'm quite excited. I really can't wait to actually play this thing, although I won't be able to play it. The reasoning being is I'm a lefty, and this guitar is gonna be a righty, because this guitar is going to my brother as a birthday gift. And that's it. And then till next time, shred on.